Hello again. My name's Cody Lesby, and today I'm going to show you how to create a stamp. Okay, so let's start with the image. What do you want to make into a stamp? This can be something that you've printed off from the computer or that you've hand drawn yourself. Then we have tracing paper. This will be for transferring. Then the rubber material that we're actually going to carve the stamp out of. This you can get at most of your craft store or art supply store. Even Aaron Brothers usually carries it. So they're pretty inexpensive. Then we have a pencil, and you want something soft, like HB or softer. And then we have our cutting blades, which, we have the knife handle, and then we have the cutting blades. We have one that's a V shape and one that's a U shape. The U shape and the V shape. The V shape is for cutting lines, and the U shape is cutting out the solid mass. And then I have a bone folder, and you can also use a spoon. So those are the materials that you'll need for this. Let's get started. So first of all, what you want to do is take your tracing paper, put it over the top of the image that you want to create, and then we'll just trace over the whole thing, just like this. Alright, now that we're done tracing out the whole image, we want to transfer it onto the rubber material. We use a bone folder, and you can also use a spoon, and you'll make sure you hold the tracing paper in place and rub just gently over the top of it. And it should transfer right on to the rubber material like this. Alright, so now that we've transferred the image on there, we want to use the V-shaped cutting blade to start cutting out the outline of our image. So you always want to, make sure you put the blade in there, but use like a piece of wood or a hard surface just to push the blade all the way in. A cutting mat will work perfectly too. So then you always want to make sure that you cut away from you. Never put your hand in front of where you're going to cut. Always cut away from you. So we start slow. Just always try to cut also away from the image itself, and take your time. So now just make sure you're carving just nice and easy. The biggest problem with a lot of people is I think they rush this part. This is in a fast forward mode, so I'm making it so it looks like I'm going really quick, but the best way to do it would be just to take your time, nice and slow and easy. So I carve out the whole line, and it takes a little while to do that, so I'm going to jump ahead coming up here. But just remember, always just kind of concentrate on what you're doing. Carve away from the image. That way you're not carving into it, because it's very easy to just slip right into that. And now just go, I wanted to put a little border on mine, so I'm cutting all the way around that too. By the time I'm done with this, all the line work around it, so I'll have a whole line that wraps around the whole image, have a line that goes all the way around the border, and then I'll cut out any of the little negative space like these, the arrow tips that are going into the heart. So that way all the thin stuff is cut first. It's all the detail. So that way I don't have to worry about it, and I can just go, after I get the detail done, I can go in and cut out all the negative space with the thick U-shaped cutting blade, which is the next step to this. So I cut out these guys, making sure that I'm, paying attention, taking my time, nice and easy. The whole thing I think took me about a half an hour. So doesn't take too long. Just be patient. You'll be surprised how easy it becomes. And there you go, all the details done. So now we use a rag. We pull out the small blade, and then we put in the thicker U-shape trough blade. See that? That's the U-shape. So we put that guy in there, and again push it in using hard surface, not our hand, and then we cut out everything else. And this should be pretty easy, because now that we have kind of a buffer zone that we cut in between the image and the piece itself, it should just go pretty quick. This is just like the mass that you're cutting out now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how it's all stamped afterwards. But if you think that you need to cut out more, you can always cut out more. I would less is good to begin with, and then stamp the image, and then try. And then if you feel like you need to cut more, cut more. But always like do a preliminary run, and then yep, there we go. That's all cut out. So now I take the excess stuff, and it's always good to have like a piece of paper under the thing, and I just throw it away, piece of cake. So take an ink pad, I stamp over the piece. Simple. And I do it this way rather than taking my whole stamp and putting over the top of it. That way I can see what I'm doing. So, and then I stamp down the image. Just like this. And there we go. It's that easy. Easy stuff. You got yourself your own custom-made stamp. Thanks for coming by.